If you're watching this video, you probably like cats or you're just curious, but a lot of people wanted me to react to this video of how we as humans domesticated cats. Not once, not 3 times, but twice. No one actually wanted me to react to this video, but I came across it naturally and I haven't seen it yet. And I was like, dude, I could react to that. So I'm doing it and hopefully you like it. I don't know, maybe you're interested like me because I want to know. I have 2 cats, Kurt and Gary, whom I love extremely much. Wait, whom I love extremely much. That makes no sense. Who I love a ton. I love them a ton, and I want to know how we got there. How did we get to the point of these cats being domesticated? We're gonna find out together, me and you. So let's get straight into it. How we domesticated cats twice. I'm so interested in this. This is gonna be like a history lesson, as well as maybe there's some things we can add to it or, you know, test out. Who knows? I haven't watched this video, so I have no idea what's in store for us, but let's see how in the world we got to where we are.
When a team of French archaeologists landed on the island of Cyprus in 2001, they quickly found that they were outnumbered. Despite having a population of about 1.2 million people, Cyprus turned out to have an even bigger population of cats.
Okay. 1.5 million cats, including both pets and feral cats. What year was this? In what year? I probably should have paid attention to that. Oh, this is in 2001. Okay, so this is not when we domesticated it. Probably should have paid attention to that. But this island, 1.5 million cats? Dude, that would be sick. That would be sick to go to this island. Island of cats. That would also be a banger YouTube video, as well as, dude, just build a house there. Bring Kurt and Gary with me and just live in a house with... Okay, never mind. I was about to say live in a house with thousands of cats, and then as soon as that was about to come out of my head, I was like, never mind. That'd be way too much.
To have an even bigger population of cats. By some estimates, as many as 1.5 million felines, including both pets and feral cats, roam the country. You can find them practically everywhere. But Cyprus is an island in the Mediterranean. And if you've ever tried to give a cat a bath, you know that most of them aren't big fans of water.
Interesting. Okay, I see where it... Dude, good hook. Good hook. You got me intrigued. I didn't think about that. When I heard island, I didn't even think about how it's surrounded by water. So how do these cats get there? So interesting. And hello, Mr. Man teaching this. Nice to meet you.
The closest mainland is Turkey, about 70 kilometers away. So how did all those cats get there? Well, those French archaeologists might have found the answer. While excavating a site of an ancient settlement, they discovered something quite surprising. It was the grave of a man who was buried alongside offerings of flint tools, seashells, and an 8-month-old cat. Dating to around 9,500 years ago, this burial represented some of the oldest known evidence of human-cat companionship anywhere in the world, predating the more well-known love of cats in ancient Egypt by 4,000 years. But when...
So this is older. This example is older than the Egyptian cats. Dang. Bro, that's so sad. Such a sad scene. Just a man buried with his cat, man. It's true love.
When did this close relationship between humans and cats start? That we can thank the complex process known as domestication. And yes, even though we let them poop inside our houses and knock stuff off our counters and pee in the laundry basket for some reason, we did domesticate them, even though it might not...
Did he just say pee? Pee in the laundry basket? Is that a thing for your cats? My cats have never peed in the laundry basket, thankfully. I don't know. I've never heard that being a common thing with cats. If it is, I'm sorry. I am sorry for you if your cat pees in your laundry basket. But that is... Kurt and Gary have not done that, thankfully.
I'd always feel like it. Today's domesticated cat is its own species, known as Felis catus. And we can trace its origins to a species of wild cats called Felis sylvestris, which is made up of 5 different subspecies. Based on studies of the genomes of modern house cats, one subspecies, called Felis sylvestris libica, is the direct ancestor of all domesticated cats today. And those wild cats, often referred to as African wild cats, can still be found across North Africa and Southwest Asia.
Dude, that is a fire-looking cat. What is this called? Something I can't pronounce? Felis sylvestris libica. That is fire. That's a fire-looking cat. Oh, Gary, come here, buddy. Now this right here, this is a Lynx Point Siamese. I'm pretty sure that's what he was. At the shelter, at least. And he brought in his little candy corn mouse that he loves. So isn't that just adorable? Look at him. So he'll probably... All right, never mind. I thought he was going to play in the background, but he just ran out of the room.
And as you could tell, these ancestral cats don't look very different from their domesticated descendants. They're slightly larger, and they don't have the color variations in their coats that we see in house cats. Instead, they mostly have what are called mackerel tabby patterns.
Dude, I love that. I love just a tabby pattern. Kurt has that. Man, it's just a beautiful thing, dude. The stripes, it's just fire. So fire.
One perpendicular to their spines. You can even find the same pattern in the cats depicted in ancient Egyptian artwork. Now, these wild kitties are solitary creatures. They don't have the same...
Gary, hold on. I just heard something. I mean, the timing's insane. Gary is going absolutely wild. He's acting like his ancestors right now.
Same social structure that other animals like wolves do. So scientists think that the domestication of cats was probably a different process from the domestication of other animals. But unfortunately, the fossil record of African wildcats isn't great. Food specimens from Cyprus that are about 11,000 years old.
11,000?
10,000 years ago. So how did we get from Felis sylvestris libica to Felis catus? Well, you know how hard it is to get cats to do stuff. It took a long time. And we still don't have the full picture, but the first step is understanding the different ways in which animals can be domesticated. A species is considered to be domesticated when it becomes genetically and permanently modified through human-influenced breeding. And
Okay, good to know. Has to be reliant on humans on some level, like food and shelter, and they have been breeded by humans. That's this guy right here. Well, he was not. I mean, I guess at some point, so does that mean all cats are breeded by humans? Even like if they were stray cats? Because Kurt was not bred by humans, and neither was Gary. They were just adopted. But I guess if they're domesticated, they would have to be bred by humans at some point. Or at least I'm learning that right now.
it has to be reliant on humans on some level, like for food and shelter, or to clean out the litter box. And American archaeologist Dr. Melinda Zader has proposed that there are 3 pathways.
My goodness. Dude, Kurt and Gary are making their mark in this. Kurt will not get away from my coffee. He wants to lick it. No, you cannot have coffee, Kurt. Look at him. Look at him. Look at this guy. No, 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 no. You cannot have. Here we go. I'll let you lick the condensation, buddy. We have a short break for Kurt to lick the condensation. See, this is a prime example of being reliant on humans right here. He is getting his water intake from the condensation of my coffee. And Gary's going crazy with a candy corn mouse. Okay, all right, that's good. You had plenty, man. You had plenty. Gary, you're gonna have to calm down, brother.
A few moments later.
All right, let's try to finish this video. My goodness, we're only 3 minutes in, and also he hasn't told us how we domesticated them once, much less twice.
To domestication: the prey pathway, the directed pathway, and the commensal pathway. In the prey pathway, wild animals are first hunted by people. Then, in order to better control the hunts, people begin to manage herds of the animals, like goats and cattle. This leads to captive breeding and eventually domestication of the species.
Let's hope that's not the
With the
cat
directed pathway, people use lessons they learned from previous attempts at domestication, often through the prey path. They go where the people go,
That's
feeding off
gotta
their
be
scraps, or on prey that may have also been drawn to the humans, like mice or rats. And this eventually leads to domestication. This is probably how cats were domesticated. For thousands of years, they stayed close to human dwellings for food, but weren't necessarily close to the people themselves. But eventually, people noticed that cats were actually pretty good at catching the pests that were plaguing their food stores, and began to actively entice them to live in their settlements. And we can get glimpses into this process by studying the remains of ancient kitties. For example, isotopic analysis of cat remains from 5,600 years ago in northwestern China has revealed trace amounts of millet, a staple grain in the diet of the human villagers there. This suggests that cats were eating the mice that were feeding on stored millet, no doubt a useful service for the villagers. And the isotopic data from one cat revealed a diet that had less meat and more millet than expected. So what did domestication as a process do to change wild cats into house cats? Well, physically, domestication has made house cats smaller than their ancestors and resulted in new varieties in coat color and patterning. These included new variations of the tabby coat and the introduction of black, orange, and white colors. Most of these coat changes are fairly recent and came about as recessive genes in wildcats became more prominent. Then, by the 19th century, we think, people started to selectively breed for more variation in markings and colors. Modern cats also maintain more genetic and behavioral similarities with their wild ancestors than most other domesticated animals do, including behaviors related to eating and breeding. This is probably because of interbreeding between domesticated cats and surrounding wildcat populations. But the thing is, wild cats are actually thought to have been domesticated twice. Once in
Here we go. The big question, how is it twice?
Southwest Asia about 10,000 years ago, and again in Egypt about 3,500.
Okay, so once in Southwest Asia, 10,000 years ago, and then again in Egypt, 3,500 years ago. Why or how was there a gap? Are they gonna answer that? Let's see.
Years ago. This is based on an analysis of the genome of modern cats, which suggests that 2 different source populations contributed to the current gene pool at 2 different times. And we've also found archaeological evidence that supports multiple points of domestication. And one cat skeleton even showed healed fractures, suggesting that it was cared for by its human companions. And from there, it looks like cats were brought to Rome by early Greek settlers, as well as through interactions between Rome and Egypt. As civilizations began to expand around 2,000 years ago, especially within the Roman Empire, cats followed as well. We know ancient Romans kept felines as pets based on artworks like mosaics that show cats in domestic settings, often hunting prey. Much like they did in the early stages of...
Look, I also have artwork. Look at there. Bingo, artwork of my cat, of Kurt. So I relate.
Domestication. But none of this actually tells us where the story of cat domestication started.
I was actually wondering if I was wondering if I missed it because it says none of this actually tells us where the story of cat domestication started. Thankfully, this video has gone on for 6.5 minutes and we still don't know because I was wondering if I just wasn't paying attention good.
This actually tells us where the story of cat domestication started. Who brought the cats to Cyprus in the first place?
All right.
Well, all we know is that at some point during the early Holocene epoch, possibly 11,000 years ago, people from Southwest Asia began to migrate to Europe, including Cyprus. And cats being cats, we just ended up with millions of little guys. In modern-day Cyprus, the cat population has boomed to the point of being considered...
Someone just brought them there from the other... What? That's the answer? I mean, it does make sense. It said, like, the reason for the gap is because they just got domesticated at different points. So, like, different points in time at different places that had no correlation to each other. And the reason there ended up millions on this island is because at some point, someone brought one or two, and they just exponentially turned into millions of cats. It makes sense, but I'm just confused. Like, I thought this was going to answer some big question of, like, this person did this, and that's what made cats be domesticated. But it's kind of just... It naturally happened. It's honestly the answer, I guess.
An infestation.
Kind of
cats are often seen
anticlimactic.
As there have been many attempts to try to get a handle on their growing population. Luckily for the feral cats, though, there are many sanctuaries run by volunteers who try to care for every stray. But it's not just...
Cat sanctuaries are goated, dude. I've been to one in Miami. It was really cool.
It's on this island where cats have commanded such a presence. Our relationship has been mutually beneficial enough that domestic cats have truly taken over the world. Today, their estimated overall population is 600 million.
Dang!
Cats have achieved world domination. But if it wasn't for us, they might
600 million?
Never have left Africa or Asia. We carried them to places they otherwise might never have seen.
So, originated in Africa and Asia, and the only reason they're at other parts of the world is because of us, according to this guy. So, very interesting. We ourselves are the reason that cats have taken over the world in terms of there being 600 million of them.
So maybe our pet cats should treat us with a little more respect?
Dang!
I could have started by not peeing on my laundry.
What is up with this guy and his cat peeing in his laundry? I need to know right now if this is a common thing. If your cat pees in your laundry, comment that they do. And if they don't, comment, hey, my cat does not pee in my laundry. At least that's my comment. That is it. I was kind of expecting more of a solidified answer, but it is interesting to know that cats have us to thank for why they are all over the world, and there's 600 million of them, and they're in every country, and they're in islands that they would never have gotten to. So that part's interesting. I mean, I did learn. I did not know that they were domesticated in different areas at once, and then that's kind of what made it exponential. But I did also expect a little bit more. So cats need to treat us with a little more respect, he said. Honestly, I don't know if I agree with that, because technically they didn't ask us to make them grow into 600 million. But we also didn't ask them to just exponentially grow either. So I think there should be a mutual respect between cats and humans. Like me, Kurt, and Gary have. Us three. They listen to everything I say, and I listen to everything that they say. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Comment any other videos you want me to see. Maybe there's some more, substance. I had really high hopes for this. Maybe you learned something like I did. I'm just Mr. Educator over here. Not really. More of I got educated and you watched me get educated. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.